If you do not know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt. I help motivated, insulin-resistant women gain back their body and energy that they thought was lost forever naturally. That's what I do. So it's really good to see you. Every day we're here Monday through Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And you know, the reason why I do this is just because I was raised by a type 2 dad who died at 63. So this is a really this is like a heart connection for me. It's kind of a little bit of emotion, not going to lie. And so I really do love to be able to come and help people with their insulin resistance conversations. All right. So housekeeping for today. Today is Wednesday. It's so good to see you guys. Jump on in, come on in from the balcony on TikTok. And if you know of anybody that needs help with insulin resistance, you know somebody that is like, maybe they're even questioning it. We're going to go through some basic symptoms today. Maybe you are just wanting to just help somebody out that is a daughter-in-law, whatever. Like I said, I help motivated women that are insulin resistant regain their body and energy that they thought was literally lost forever naturally. Like this is the whole point. Go ahead and share this content. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button if you want consistent information that will help you move down the track of turning back your insulin resistance so you can literally, let's go back to living in Technicolor again. Let's get our lives back. Housekeeping for today would be that we have a 5-day free challenge coming up again. It'll be our 24th one, and it's in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. It will be Monday, May 5th. Monday, May 5th, and we'll do it through Friday, May 9th. And that's coming up very quickly, you guys. You still have time to grab targeted supplementation and join us. You still have time to decide that you're going to have a completely different universe for the summer. Okay. And that because what you do now, I promise you, like your best friend that's just having a cup of coffee with you, I promise you what you're doing, what you choose to do now is setting you up for Christmas. It's setting you up for the holidays. Okay. So don't ever forget that. So today, what I want to do is I want to talk about, if you are tired, you're craving sugar all the time, you're gaining belly fat, and you're eating healthy and wondering what's going on. So that's, I got balloons. Julie, good to see you. Good to see you. That is where I want to kind of start today. So I thought, you know what? It's been a little while since I've done insulin resistance. I mean, I'm going to be saying like 101, but I mean, that's really not completely true, but we'll just kind of see where this goes. But I want to give you like symptoms of insulin resistance. How do you freaking even know? How do you know? Like I knew nothing. And now I look back and I go, whoa, good morning. Who's with me? Oh, very, very good. Very good, Chris. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. I appreciate that. That like gets my algorithm up or whatever. I don't even know my terminology. See, you could do this too. Anybody could do this. But it does, it pushes it out onto the FYP, and that's so good. But in talking about insulin resistance, listen, I am so convinced that women are sliding into their 40s. They are insulin resistant and they do not know it. They don't know that insulin is a hormone. They do not know that it's turning upside down their other hormones. And they don't know that that's why they're gaining weight or they can't lose weight. And then, of course, you can go down the road and talk about medication that gets added into your life and the fact that you feel like trash, the fact that you're not sleeping well, your energy is in the tank, like you are just not feeling right. Maybe even they tell you everything is fine with your labs and you're like, something's not okay. And your belly just gets bigger. And your exhaustion just becomes more frequent. Those are the things we're going to talk about. And I'm going to try to give you an analogy to the best of my ability as to what insulin resistance looks like so that you can make decisions based on that. Because once you start viewing everything through the lens of insulin resistance, it changes your life. That's what I ended up finally doing. And I always give hope to everybody because I didn't even start till I was 50, right around there. And in my upper 40s, And that's even having an Italian family with a lot of obesity and type 2 diabetes. That's even having a dad who died of type 2 diabetes at 63. That's even after I was gestational diabetic at 22. Like, come on. I should have done something in between 22 and 50. What do you think? But I didn't. I did nothing. Nothing. Okay. So just letting you know that if I can turn back around my insulin resistance and not be on any meds at 60, have lost 3 sizes in my 50s, so can you. So can you. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so this is the reason why I wanted to kind of do a little bit of one-on-one today, because I do feel like every day I know that there are new people that are watching my content. Every day I'm aware that there are new people that are coming across my content that you've never even heard that insulin resistance is reversible. Maybe you were like me and you don't even know that insulin resistance is a terminology. Because you can see, nobody was saying this 10 years ago. Nobody was like, oh, insulin resistant this and insulin resistant that. No, it didn't exist. And if they were, you really didn't know about it because there was no live video. You are sitting on something that wasn't happening 10 years ago. And I'm trying to remember like the inception date of Periscope. I don't remember, but that was our entrance into live video. If you don't know, that was owned by Twitter back in the day. And, and back in the day now was 10 years ago. It's almost like, like 100 years took place in 10 years. But anyway, so right around there, even if it was available at that moment, it was super not widespread. So this conversation that we're having every day on insulin resistance is a gift. This is an absolute gift that you can sit on somebody's content and gain a few pieces, like a few nuggets to help you move along and to actually be told, listen, if you're really tired of not getting answers and you're spending thousands of dollars at a functional doctor or a naturopath office, and some of you need to, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you to stop doing that. I'm just saying, if you're tired of spending all of this money and you're not getting results, why don't we talk about the simplicity of turning back around your insulin resistance and bringing down your cortisol, getting your liver to function? Like, why don't we do that? Okay, let's do that. So you're eating healthy, but your weight won't budge, not even 1 pound. You might be insulin resistant. You wake up tired even after you've had a full night's sleep. You might be insulin resistant. That reminds me of Jeff Foxworthy. That's so funny. I wasn't planning on doing a Jeff Foxworthy, thing today, but if you crash hard after meals, like you crash, you might be insulin resistant. If you crave sugar or carbs at night, now it could be anytime, but specifically at night, especially at night, you might be insulin resistant. Tell me if any of these are resonating with you. I would like to know which ones. Tell me in the comments. Your brain feels foggy. You might be insulin resistant. You carry stubborn fat in your belly, your love handles, upper arms. You might be insulin resistant. So let's dive into that just a tiny bit. So oftentimes we cut calories and we've tried walking. We've maybe even done keto. And I do teach grain, sugar, legume-free, whole food, no processed crap. I mean, very little, I should say. So I do teach all of that. But I have many people that come to me and they go, I've been doing keto and it's still not kicking in. It's still not like still can't budge a pound. That's a lot to do with misinformation, and also because maybe you haven't detailed the inside of your engine. And that's the supplementation piece of the puzzle. But your waistline still feels inflamed or stuck. All right. Now, when you wake up tired, your body's not getting energy into your cells. And this is the analogy I'm going to explain to you here in just a second. So you feel like you're running on fumes all day. When you're crashing hard after meals, that post-lunch slump, it's not laziness, it's a blood sugar roller coaster. Okay. When you are craving sugar or carbs at night, it's because your cells are starved for energy. So your body starts begging for quick fixes. Like, help, help. If your brain is foggy, you ever walk into a room and you forget why? That mental haze is often a metabolic red flag. Okay. And then when you carry all that stubborn fat in your belly and your love handles, and your upper arms, that's a telltale sign your insulin isn't unlocking the doors to burn fat. Okay, this is kind of bugging me right there. Let's keep that right there. Tugging on my shirt. All right. So it's a telltale sign that your insulin is not unlocking the doors to burn fat. Okay. So when I talk about insulin resistance, there are many analogies that I could use, and this is just the one that makes the most sense to me. And I feel like it's very indicative of our society anyway. So if you live by a city, and it could even be a small town, every single place that you live has storage units. Every single place, you're going to find a storage unit somewhere. We're just that kind of a society where we have stuff in storage. I have a storage unit. Do you have a storage unit? Because whatever, we've moved a couple times and we're in the middle of real estate transactions. So I have a storage unit. Okay. But this is very common where you pass by a building that has many, many doors. Okay. Now, those doors, let's say that those are your cells. Those are the cells inside of your body, okay? And actually, you want to be able to open up a storage unit and fill it with energy is really what you want, okay? Now, your body has a preferred source of fuel. So just like if you had a wood stove in your house, you would put wood in there. You would either burn like oak, and that would burn long and hot, or maybe you put pine in there and it burns really, really fast. And it gobbles it up really fast, like, and it's gone. If you've ever done a wood fire before, you know this to be true. And so your body actually wants that pine. It wants that sugar. It wants the fast energy. It's its preferred source of fuel. There's nothing wrong about it. It just is. It just is what it is. Okay. So having said that, what happens then is when you eat food, it turns into energy. It spikes your sugars. It brings up your blood glucose. Now, I had eggs this morning for breakfast. So having eggs this morning, it just raised my fuel level a little bit. It didn't give it that much like sugar. So therefore, it's going to take that sugar and put it into my cell. But then if it wants more energy, it's going to begin to burn my oak. What's my oak? It's my fat. Okay, so that going back to, I've lost 3 sizes in my 50s. I didn't do it because I was starving myself, because I was on an elliptical all the time, because I was a runner. I've never ran a day in my life. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying I always went, ew. I don't know. Maybe I know runners love to run. But anyway, but I didn't do any of that. I didn't count points. I didn't buy a $1,200 a month prepackaged food program. No, I understood how my body was functioning over time. I'm a little bit of a slowpoke. I was a little bit of a turtle. But the reason why is because, again, no live video. There wasn't a support group like this. There weren't a bunch of women sitting around chatting about how they could turn around their insulin resistance. This didn't exist. I didn't even start the Facebook group. 2 years ago, I started it. Okay. So this stuff didn't exist when I was walking my journey. So I walked it for use peoples. I walked it for you guys. Good morning, Kim. You have all of these. Yes. I understand. Good morning, Magda. Good morning, Claudette. So did I. I had all of these, and I didn't, I did a post yesterday about how, like, and I don't remember how I worded it right now in the moment, but basically, you know what? I got tired of expecting the medical community to assess me, and like nobody was giving out any good information. It was all trash information. This is my opinion. And I realized that I had to assess myself. And I feel like one of the best gifts that you can give yourself right now in 2025 is to give yourself the gift of assessment. Pay attention to your body, and then let's turn things around. Okay. All right. So basically you have storage units, and however you are giving your body fuel, whatever kind of food you're giving it, when you give it too much blood glucose, you eat something that just spikes your sugars high, and you are insulin resistant, all of that extra fuel, this is the punchline. I'm giving you the punchline, then I'll give you the description. It's turning to fat. And this is how that's happening. So your pancreas releases insulin, and insulin is a hormone. So think about your insulin like the delivery trucks. And the delivery trucks are going to go pick up the load of fuel and shuttle them into the cell, which is the storage unit. Okay, so when you eat, if you eat, let's pretend that you just go a little crazy and you go to a Chinese restaurant and you have, let's see, what would I have wanted to eat? Is it General Tso's chicken or sweet and sour chicken? Let's say sweet and sour chicken on white rice, probably one of the worst things you could eat when you're insulin resistant. So you're eating breaded chicken and it's breaded with white flour, and then they pour sugar all over it, and then they put it on white rice, which is pure sugar. Okay, let's just pretend you do that. So you're eating dessert, basically. So you're doing that and you really spike your sugars. But you've been doing this for years. You've been spiking your sugars for years, and now you're insulin resistant and you're not understanding that. You're not paying any attention to that. So your cell, your storage unit has already, with you not understanding or knowing it, all of those storage unit doors in that long line of a storage unit that you see along your highway, there's a lock on every single door now. And none of them are going to open for the energy. None of them. So now what's happening is your delivery truck is releasing. You just had a Chinese meal and it tasted amazing, by the way. I know, because that was what I would have chosen. And now you've spiked your sugars to the freaking moon. So the delivery trucks are like, go, 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 go get the energy. Oh my gosh, that's so much energy. We need 4 trucks, 5 trucks, whatever, right? They go, and they're filling up and filling up and filling up with the fuel, the sugar that's in your blood, and they're taking it to your storage units. All of those doors, bam, 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 lined up, ready to go. You know, like, hello, anybody home? I'm going to put energy in you. Hello, anybody home? I'm going to put energy in you. Down the row, down the entire row, locked, locked, locked. And now that key doesn't work anymore. Threw away the key. Okay, the key's not thrown away. I shouldn't say that because then you would never be able to reverse it. So the key, it's like laying on the pavement or something. I don't know. The key is not getting into the lock. So now what happens is all of those delivery trucks that took that insulin to go grab your blood sugar to put it into all of your storage units, your cells. Now what it does is it's like, it doesn't say, oh, well, ho hum, guess I can't get any energy into the cell. We're done now. Oh, no, 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 no. No, it's a fat storing hormone. So it still has a job to do. It's going to start storing fat. You're welcome. But that's what's going to happen. And you're like, what is going on? My belly is getting bigger. Like, holy crap, my back fat is out of control. Like, this is ridiculous. Why is this happening, right? Hold on, I'm going to grab a Kleenex. Hold on, you guys. What in the world? Silliness, right? Instagram. I take you with me. I always take Instagram with me because I have a microphone on. So I don't know why my nose is running. Wasn't running all day. I think I'm just excited or something. So basically what's happening then is you are now storing fat in areas that you are not happy about. And I'm just going to tell you again, like your friend, you're never going to get into fat burning mode if your insulin is high. If you keep calling on insulin, I'm really sorry to tell you, like, this is what's going to happen. And then the other piece of the puzzle happens to be with your liver. Because if your liver, part of the storage of fat, it's straight into your liver. That's not great. How do we end up with so much fatty liver? Well, because we have so much insulin resistance. Why is fatty liver in our children? Because insulin resistance is in our children. Do you understand? Think about it. When fatty liver 50 years, 60 years ago was only in alcoholics, like almost always only in an alcoholic, what is drinking? Sugar, right? Hello. That's the connection. So just to let you kind of know how that goes. So hold on just a second. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Good morning, Ruthie. Good to see you. Good morning, Terry. You guys are so awesome. Okay. So you are eating things that are still spiking your sugars. And this is over years, right? So I started my revelation, which I did nothing with, of my insulin resistance in my early 20s, being gestational diabetic. My dad dies when I'm 30. He's 63. He's Italian type 2, did all of it. He did it all. He took the entire tour of every, he took the entire tour of every hospital like procedure possible. So we did, emergency angiograms and heart disease and quadruple bypass surgery and pacemaker. And then, his kidneys are shot. And so then he was on dialysis and then, he's throwing up and you get the picture. He did it all. And then, of course, they just kept giving him more and more meds and more increased dosages. And so he ended up dying with like a slew of medication. This is what triggered me to begin with, over time going, wait a minute, right? And that's when I kind of started silently to myself questioning things and, allowing information to show up and to pay attention to it. So, that's kind of where that started with me. So you're insulin resistant, please. If you don't hear anything other than this, hear this sentence, because I can't even tell you how many people, I didn't know this, so I'm not dogging on anybody, but I swear I could say it every minute of every single day and still not enough people would hear this message. You can be insulin resistant for years and decades before it ever shows up in your blood glucose. Yes, your A1C is a helpful marker, but long before your A1C is going up, you could have had a fasting insulin test. If you have fatty liver, you're insulin resistant. If you've had a fasting insulin test and your numbers are high and it's not hard to find out what your number should be, go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT. What are the ranges for fasting insulin? Long before, you could have known that and you could have turned it around. Now it's still not too late. Still not too late. I have many women that are losing tons of weight, getting off of medications, turning back their insulin resistance, and over the journey, you do become more metabolically flexible. You actually do. I had a question. So what's a sample of healthy, enjoyable? I like the way you say that. Enjoyable breakfast and dinner example. I want to enjoy healthy meal choices, no problems with belly fat. That's good. And you were gestational diabetic with your last child 32 years ago. Hello, mine's 36. Hold on. I'll actually give you an answer for that. Is monk fruit okay in coffee? Does that spike insulin? No, monk fruit is fine. Monk fruit is fine. So I will answer that for you. Basically, the journey that I took is the journey that a lot of women are taking. Some of you are flipping it. Okay. I only teach two things. I teach food ingredient trade outs and targeted supplementation. I started with targeted supplementation because I was not willing to trade out my foods. Full transparency. I pretty much was like, yeah, that's pretty much never going to happen. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm Italian. Like, don't you understand, right? That was my thought process. So I had no intentions of changing that out. So I started with supplementation kind of like this. This was me. Since I'm not willing to really do anything else, gosh, I hope this works. Like, I've never supplemented before, so I don't even know like how to even think about what I'm doing, but okay. But I needed to make my mother stop asking me about my sugars. It was so annoying to me. You have no idea. Kirsten, do you go to the doctor? Kirsten, do you know where your sugars are at? Kirsten, don't you care? That was my mother. And God bless her, because it really did strike some fear into me. Good morning, Linda. Good to see you. I'm going to reach out to you today, Linda, so that we can figure out how to meet up. I want to meet up this weekend and get you your bag. And she just would not leave me alone. But you know what? I'm so grateful, because for real, she's, thinking like, your dad died. What more do you need? And she could see my weight. And on TikTok, there's a before and after up there. That's where I was when I started. 2x. I'm just telling you. And anybody who wants to know about the trio, the 3 supplements, when I send you, I have a little 2-minute video that can explain better than I can right here, right now. And if you want that, just put trio in the comments or get into my messenger and tell me that. And I'll send you, and there will be a 2-minute video, but there will also be that before and after transition. So you'll be able to see that too. And then tons of testimonies. But that's where I started. We're targeted supplementations. And then I love to teach the food aspect, because you have to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. Okay. So I have a group called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And inside of that group, every month we do a 5-day, it's free, a free 5-day insulin resistant reset challenge. Okay. And the next one is starting on Monday, May 5th. So everybody has time to grab your targeted supplementations, get into the group, land yourself there for that week so that you can get a few nuggets. And then the next month we do another one. And the next month we do another one. Okay. And that gives you a track to run on. You actually have somebody like myself to be able to walk journey with you. Don't you want that? Don't you want somebody to actually walk journey with you? I have you guys, you send me pictures of the food that you make. You ask me questions about tweaking your supplementation. You tell me your stories. You send me your labs. Like, this is what we get to do together so that you can actually have a different answer to what your results are 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now. That is so freaking exciting. But if you drop trio, I will get you that video and you'll get to see testimonies, and they're really small. They're not horse pills at all. This is where I started. One is 3 times a day and the other 2 are twice a day. But that is how you can bring down your insulin, bring down your sugars, up the function of your liver, help your metabolism. This is where I started. This is all a cellular conversation. We want to have all these other conversations around us. And I'm telling you, most of the other conversations are bunk. If you cannot talk about dealing with your cellular health, everything else is a Band-Aid. It just is, because this is all about how your cells block energy because you are insulin resistant, because they are resistant to the actual way that your body gets energy into the cell, which is using insulin to shuttle the food. That food is supposed to be nourishing your body and giving you energy. And when it can't do that anymore, that's when it goes down. So the food question that she had. So when I talk about food, I talk about it this way. The reason why I thought that I would never change out my foods is because as a foodie, I thought I would have to give up everything that I loved. The last time that I really paid attention before this was back in the 90s, when they told us to go fat-free and hate our life. And I'm serious. So I thought that I would have to do something like that again without knowing anything. I just assumed that it was going to be icky food. Like, I wasn't going to love any of it. No research to back that up or anything. Well, when I understood that I was just switching out the ingredients to the foods that I already loved, that's when it really made a connection for me. So I still eat the foods that I love. I just change out my pantry. So this is a pantry conversation. Okay. And you guys send me pictures of your pantries too. Send me pictures. I want to see your pantries. I want to see how far you've come. Be proud of yourself. But But like good examples, I would say that, and I did a live on this last week about examples. I get up in the morning, I almost have eggs every single day. I have eggs almost every single morning. Now, yesterday, what I did was I made a loaf of the egg white bread. I don't know if you know about Maria Emmerich's egg white bread, but I made a loaf of that. And so I took a couple slices of that. It's grain free, fried that up in butter. And then I had a couple of eggs with that. That's very normal. I like to do chicken wings, like for a lunch idea, chicken wings with like pork pinko. Have you ever used pork pinko? Use that. Put that in the air fryer. They get super crispy and amazing. I like using egg life wraps. Egg life wraps are very beneficial. I can use those with taco meat and, salsa, etc. I like using those. I like eating spaghetti squash for like a base of something. It's the only squash that I eat. I eat non-starchy vegetables. And remember, like people are like, oh, you have to have carbs. Listen, all fruits and vegetables have carbs. So stop it. Like an onion has carbs. So unless you're carnivore, you're not carb free. So I understand they want you to freak out thinking you're not getting it. You're still getting carbs, but you do have to really think about intentionally high protein, moderate good fat, and way low carbohydrates. Okay. And when you eliminate grain, sugar, and legumes like that, I do some peanut butter, and peanuts are actually a legume. But when you start to eliminate grains, sugar, and legumes, listen, you are really becoming way more whole food oriented, but you can still love the foods that you eat. Gosh, I hope that you can hear that. I mean, you're better off eating a steak and eggs in the morning and literally waiting and then just watch yourself. No toast, no pancakes, no hash browns, just no fruit. Just do steak and eggs in the morning and then just test this for yourself. How long do you go before you have actual hunger? Find out for yourself. It's probably about 4 hours. Super beneficial for your body. Super beneficial. Because 4 hours without spiking your sugars and calling on more insulin, you're letting your body rest. Okay? And then you're not giving it the opportunity to store fat. I hope that makes sense. But those are just some of the things that I do personally. And you had egg and turkey bacon today. Perfect. Now, depending upon how much of protein that you had, increase it. What is your goal weight? Now, listen, you may already be at your goal weight. You don't have to be fat to be insulin resistant. You can be skinny. You don't have to be overweight. Most people are, just the way that it goes. However, you're welcome, Connie. However, whatever your goal weight is or whatever, and if you're at your goal weight, perfect, that's the same number. Eat that in grams of protein every single day. Girls, we need our protein. I'm 60 years old. All I should ever focus on now for the rest of my life is protein and making sure that I maintain my muscle mass and that I actually build it up a little bit. So now I'm going to spend my 60s getting some muscle, keep increasing my muscle. I want to be stable. One of the best things that you can do for your blood sugar levels is to actually put muscle on your body because it will help to balance your blood sugars. It's a really big deal. So don't restrict yourself when it comes to protein. Shoot for 30 grams of protein at every meal. 30 to 50. Like get it way up there, way more than you think. The only thing that I use that's like, if you want to call it processed, I have a clean grass-fed whey protein. It only has 5 ingredients sweetened with stevia. 5 ingredients. It's the cleanest one. I love it. It's great. I can always give people a link for that if you want that. Whatever. But that is a good way to supplement. If you are finding that you are not getting enough protein, just don't be buying tubs of stuff that aren't clean or, helpful. You're going backwards. And the reason why you're going backwards is because your liver is your fat metabolizing organ. And if you're putting a bunch of toxic filler stuff through your liver and making it like deal with it. Like, I'm just telling you, like, you want your liver to be happy so it can actually burn fat for you. Like, don't make this harder than you need it to be. And if you're skinny, but you have visceral fat, that's its own conversation, right? That's its own conversation. Yeah, Renee, I will get that. You can't eat that much protein. Yeah, I'll get you a link for that. You eat a plant-based one. And I do have, I'm going to be honest, in my line, I have an organic plant protein, but I don't drink it because it's too many, it's rice. Now it's organic and it's amazing. And for people who aren't insulin resistant, I mean, that is a really well done product. Amazing. Not going to lie, but I don't do the ingredients. So I've waited for them. They had another one, but this one is like, holy shnikey. Grass-fed whey? Are you kidding me? 5 ingredients? Like, so that's why. But I'll get you that, Renee. I'll get you that. So you were saying something about chia. And the thing is with unsweetened almond milk, I'm adding fruit. Wondering if this spikes my sugar in the morning. I also add plain Greek yogurt. Plain Greek yogurt is very good. I tend to, that's very good. I use that a lot and I can sweeten it, you know, with a plant sweetener and then like cinnamon and stuff. So I love that. The only fruit that I eat are berries. Everything else is too high in sugar. And then chia, there is, I don't do chia, but it's only because there's just a lot of, like Maria Emmerich, when I'm listening to her information, I would probably have to dive a little deeper into it. Chia can be kind of estrogenic and all sorts of things. And they've deemed certain things health foods that really kind of, you know, whatever. So it's just something, maybe what I need to do is research that and come and do a live on that. But I do unsweetened almond milk also, etc. Very good. So yeah. Renee, do you want chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry when I send you a link? Let me know and I'll get that for you. But anyway, so I wanted to give you a real basic on that. And, you know, I talk about different tiers of thought process for supplementation and people can decide where they are. Obviously, I talk about the trio the most because that's the very base thought process. If you cannot bring down your insulin and your sugars, this is where we have, you know, issues. And, you know, when people know that they need to, let's say, get their morning sugars down, that dawn phenomenon, I've seen this happen multiple times. Like, it's just an amazing reality to be able to bring down those things that are making you tired, exhausted, and messing you up. So my website is my first last name.com. And I just want to show you where the testimonies are. So this is what my website looks like. And if you go down right now, it's on the 5th button. Sometimes I move them around. This 5th button right there are the testimonies. And it's basically a Google sheet. So for anybody who wants to know like testimonies of bringing down weight, sugars, etc., most all of those are the trio right here. The 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. So this is where I started. This is what I still do. This is, you take this one 3 times a day and these 2 twice a day. Sugars, insulin, liver, metabolism, etc. All right. That's kind of like going into your engine and dealing with your engine. That's what this is doing. Okay. Now somebody who really wants, you can go anywhere. Magda says that she can go vanilla. Renee, perfect. I'll send you vanilla. That's actually my favorite right now. I can go anywhere from 4 to 6 hours before I get hungry. You love the grass-fed whey protein. Strawberry is yummy. Just got my chocolate whey protein, also yummy. Vanilla is next. That's awesome, Magda. Thanks for saying that. You know what? So I got the vanilla and I actually adore the vanilla. I really like it. And then I got the chocolate and I'm like, okay, well, I do like the chocolate, but it's not my favorite right now. It's not like I actually still would choose the vanilla. And so for me, the next one is strawberry to get. This is a brand new launch, you guys. So we're all trying them together. I love that. But yeah, to go 4 to 6 hours, that's exactly right. When you're really piling on that protein, it really matters. Now, if anybody wants to layer anything with what you're already doing, if you know you have GI issues, I have people that have short gut syndrome. I have people that that have IBS. and they're really trying to work on their gut, because your gut, we know about leaky gut, right? Do you know about leaky gut? If you're spilling nutrients, then you are not absorbing the things that you need to give your body the raw materials to function. So it's kind of like you're swimming upstream. So if you know that you need to work on your gut, I have a gut primer and a probiotic that I highly recommend. And that's like the gut reset protocol. Looks like a greens drink. It is not. It is actually a primer that has 6 ingredients in it. I just really, you guys, I'm shocked at I shouldn't be shocked, but I am. I'm just going to be honest. I'm a little like amazed at the different testimonies that we're getting from the gut primer. We're just really messed up in that arena in our nation because of the food supply, because of the things we eat, because of stress, because of meds, whether they're script or over the counter. So there are many factors that go into the reason why our guts are really upside down. So if you need the gut reset protocol, you could always ask me about that if you want to add that to the trio or however. And remember, you can always reach out to me. And I do schedule phone consults. And then the last one is the fat burner. And this is the one, if you have visceral fat, this is what you want to talk to me about, okay? If you already know you have visceral fat and you're concerned, I mean, the side note is that, isn't it nice to lose inches off of your waist and hips? That happens. Magda's was 3.5 from under her bra in 90 days, 2 off of her waist and 1 off of her hips. I think everybody wants that for summer. But if you have visceral fat, this is what you want to talk to me about. Ask me about the orange pixie stick, okay? So those are the 3 kind of tiers that I talk to people about. Some people do all of it. Some people pick and choose a little bit, but that's the benefit of connecting with me. Messenger, Instagram inbox. You can reach out to me on TikTok. We just have to get off the platform for me to send you anything clickable. But I am telling you, you guys, walking this journey now with so many women and seeing what their results are, when you guys tell me how it's changing the function of your life, and it's kind of like the dark clouds go away and the sun comes out and you feel like you're living in Technicolor again because you're taking back your health. You're doing it for yourself. No longer are we going to fall to the misinformation that we are given or the lack of information or the lack of help. It's ridiculous that women are out there spending thousands of dollars out of pocket, thousands of dollars to go to a functional doctor that's not helping them. We thought going to functional medicine, and I'm sure, and God bless anybody that's having results and getting help. For real, I mean that. I'm so grateful. But I think that we thought that it was a blanket help, that we were going to have functional medicine enter our society. And alas, that is not what has happened. Instead, oftentimes, they just keep saying, oh, I just saw Dr. Mark Hyman talk about, no, it was Dr. Pompa, I think, it doesn't matter, talking about how they just keep saying it's parasites and, candida or whatever, and they keep putting you on systems and systems and systems, and it keeps coming back and it keeps coming back and it keeps coming back because we're not dealing oftentimes with the corest of core issues, okay? And this is a cellular conversation. There is nothing more core than your cell. Okay. So we're going to deal with your cells. We're going to deal with giving your body the raw materials that it needs to function. And that's where you're able to go, oh, I can see the light a little bit. Okay. And everybody has their own healing journey. And I get that. But I always tell people, listen, there are 2 things going for you. Connect with me. The number 1 thing you have going for you is a 6-month guarantee on all the products. And number 2, you get me. And I don't mean that with arrogance. I really don't. I mean that with, it took me 3 to 4 years to trade out my foods because I'm Italian. And I had to have carb blocker in my pockets at all times. And some of you do pick up the carb blocker. But I'm just telling you, like, this is just from my own personal experience, being able to help people go, stop being so hard on yourself. Stop shaming yourself. These are the types of conversations that we can have so that you can get real help, real results. And then maybe you don't have to hide behind your sister-in-law in pictures this summer at the family reunion or the 4th of July picnic. Maybe you don't have to have the pillow on your lap in front of your belly for the Christmas photos that are coming up. Because what you do now is setting yourself up for next holiday season. I hope you know that. Okay. So I would love to help any and everybody. I love, just again, I'll mention it again. I really do help motivated insulin resistant women regain their body and their energy, both that they thought were lost forever. And we do it naturally. And man, does it feel good. And then you're like in control. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything before I jump off. I think I'm good right there. Renee, I'll get that for you. I think I got that one. Yep, I did get that one. Red apples too high in sugar. Yes, Connie, when you're insulin resistant. Yes. So, yeah. And you guys just know that you can become more metabolically flexible. It doesn't mean that you live a certain way forever. It doesn't. It's been a few years now for me. I'm 60 and I started at 50, and it took me 3 to 4 years to figure out my food and to, stop rewarding myself with high spiking foods and things like that. Other people can compress time. But the truth is that in order to really tamp down, it's very wise to narrow your field and allow your body to have a cellular reset. And it doesn't happen overnight. I wish it did, but it doesn't. There are things that you can do to accelerate that. That's why I talk about targeted supplementation. You can accelerate what's going on. Okay. But in the meantime, berries for fruits, non-starchy vegetables like greens, spaghetti squash, meat, eggs, full-fat dairy, unless you're having a few PSMF days. That's another conversation, protein-sparing modified fast days. But full-fat dairy and maybe some nuts and some seeds. Now, I overeat on nuts, so that's another conversation for another day. I know better than to have a lot of nuts in my house. Just saying. Oh, I like mixed nuts. Anyway, so tomorrow we'll be back here at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'll get off and answer any questions. I'll send links, do all the things. If you need anything, let me know, okay? All right. See you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have such a great day. Have the best day literally ever on the face of the planet. All right. See you later.